After about 10 years of waiting, a new Doom game has finally arrived on next-gen consoles, and I'm here to give you my flu review to tell you guys whether I feel, as a longtime Doom fan, if the game has lived up to the expectations of such a great, legendary series. If you can't tell by my voice, I'm been a little bit under the weather. That's why we're calling it the flu review. Don't mind listening to my raspy voice, hock and cough and choke my way through this review, because I'm going to do what I got to do to let you guys know what the deal is with this game. This game has a lot to live up to. There's a lot riding on it. Doom has been a series that redefined the genre of gaming back in the early 90s. All mainstream first-person shooters and the most popular ones you see today probably could never have been what they were if it wasn't for the original Doom. With that said, there's a lot of expectations people have on what this Doom game should be like compared to the old Dooms, and then you have people who want a lot more innovation put in the game, and we're looking forward to see where this release takes us in the series. This release definitely took a lot of elements from the original two Doom games and built upon it. By the end of the day, was it exactly like the original Dooms? No. And was it completely different than the original Dooms? No, not either. I actually think they did a very good mix of taking some of the things we loved about the original games and putting it in this one, and also keeping it fresh and innovative. To some Doom fans, especially the long-term ones like myself, this could have been seen as a little disappointing. They probably expected a lot more similarities to the original games, but I believe the balance was done very well, and overall, this game is a fun, badass Doom experience that any Doom fan out there should definitely get their hands on. So to start off, let's talk about the core mechanics of the game. How does it feel? How does it look? How does it sound? Well, the entire control scheme is some of the smoothest I've ever played. Anyone could pick up this game and learn it in 2 seconds. It feels like the original games. It plays so smooth. They really did a great job with the control scheme and how perfect you interact with the environments and everything in it. The graphics are outstanding. From PS4 to Xbox One, you could check the images, comparing them. I mean, it runs on 1080p, 60 frames per second. The PS4 definitely does have a little edge in the graphics if you take a look, and the PC trumps them all, which is to be expected nowadays. This always seems to be the trend with these games. The environments between the Mars bases and Hell looks fantastic. They did a great job. The enemy variety, there's plenty of enemy variety. You have all your original baddies back. They look good. They're all redone. Some bad guys have, let's say, more than one form. Specifically, the Mancubus. They differentiated the look between a Baron of Hell and a Hell Knight much more clearly than the original games, and I'm so happy they brought the Baron of Hell back. That was one of the things I was looking forward to when this game came out, having not seen it in Doom 3. Not just a throwback to the monsters, they also throw in all your favorite weapons from the original games. The chainsaw makes a comeback where it has to be used more strategically. You don't just run around and hold on people. You need to calculate when to use it. You can use the chainsaw 2 ways. It has very limited ammo. Any enemy you go up to with a chainsaw is a one-hit kill. The only thing is you have to have enough gas to kill that enemy. You go up to a Baron of Hell with 20% in the tank, you can't kill it. But if it's full enough and it's a big group and you need to take out the Baron of Hell, you could go wipe them in one hit. Or you could use it to get ammo. Any kill with the chainsaw will refill basically your whole ammo cache. And the audio is what to expect from a Doom game. Not like Doom 64 where the audio was mainly just kind of eerie background ambiances, but more or less like the original badass heavy metal Doom music. When people think of first-person shooters nowadays, the first thing that comes to mind is running, shoot, cover, feel safe, heal, come out, shoot, move, cover, reload, wait for your health to regenerate. Doom takes it back old school. There are no cover systems. The point is to keep moving. It even says it on the directions, like in the back of the game. Keep moving or you will die. That's the advice that they gave to the players buying this game. It couldn't have been more true, what they told you to do. So players who are not familiar with that, it might be a little difficult to get into it, but once you get it down pat, you're going to really enjoy yourself. You'll be fighting hordes of enemies on screen at one time, and there's no regenerating health. You can't go cover or try to get to a vantage point and snipe out enemies. You're going to have to keep moving, get bigger, badder guns, and take any opportunities you see to seize and destroy an enemy. As you're playing the game, the HUD's basically the same. no Doom guy face. You're just basically in the Praetor suit or the Halo suit kind of mixed together. I was hoping they would put the original Doom guy face in, but I didn't really expect it, so I mean, that's fine. You have your health bar and your armor bar on screen. As you move around the map in different arenas fighting, you have to pick up health packs, you have to pick up armor shards. But if you're running low on health, one of the key elements of the game is the glory kills. The glory kills are once an enemy is taking a certain amount of damage, probably something like 90% of its health gone, it will start to glow for a few seconds in a stunned state. At this point, you hit the melee button, and you will perform a gruesome, brutal glory kill. Each enemy does have a variety of different glory kills that can be performed on them. The animations on these are lightning fast, and that's great. So it never takes you out of the element of combat. In the beginning, I was a little iffy with it because you feel like when you only fight in the beginning, first like level or two is just basically zombies and imps, which are the easiest enemies in the game, and I found myself constantly just glory kill, glory kill, glory kill every 2 seconds. And I start to think, I hope this doesn't start to become the trend of the whole game and I have to continuously glory kill enemies. But as you progress and the enemies become harder and the hordes become larger, you're gonna find it more difficult to keep repeating glory kills, and you're gonna have to more strategically plan them out or hit them at the right time, and it actually becomes very comfortable in the combat and a strategy to how to win some fights. The level designs are great. They are not, which I've been seeing some people were saying they were too linear. I don't agree with that. I mean, I've been playing first-person shooters forever, and normally their first-person shooters are directly linear. Like, it's not as linear as, let's say, a Call of Duty or anything like that. They are the maps are an open environment, and they brought back the yellow and blue key system from the old games. The key cards on Mars, the skulls on Hell, which is awesome. I don't know what they had against the red ones. There are no red doors in the game. Who knows? But I'm not complaining. I got a good laugh actually the first time I walked up to a door and it said yellow ID access required. I thought that was great. And at times you will get to points where you have where the fuck do I go moments. And it can be a little stressful looking around. Maybe you missed the body with the key, and you do have to interact with the map, and you could go to different areas to find the items needed to get through to areas you've already been in, to get to the following area. So it's not a straight shot. And in some of the levels early on, before you start to get the hang of the game, you're going to be lost. The first Hell stage, I was completely lost. The maps are also chock full of secrets, level ups for your armor, mods for your suit, mods for your guns. There's collectibles in the game, which are throwbacks to the original Doom. You pick up these little dolls of the Doom guy, and the original Doom music kicks in, which is really cool. This adds a lot to the playtime of the campaign. I wouldn't consider it to be tedious either. You want to find these items. There's a dynamic map system where as you upgrade your suit, and you could download the maps of the areas you're in, you could actually see where these collectibles and different items that you haven't gotten are located, and you could always go back to the missions and keep finding these items to buff your guy up and get some backstory for the game. The game storyline is pretty straightforward. It's not a huge, in-depth, deep story. You get bits and pieces of story throughout some levels and throughout like your microphone from your allies you're working with. But the majority of the story they left up to the player to decide if they wanted to figure it out, instead of giving us 30-minute cutscenes or having to scroll through text conversations for 20 minutes at a time. You get these data logs which will tell you about enemies and backstories behind them and the backstories on the environments you're in, and it's up to you whether or not you'd like to read them. I happen to read them. I enjoyed it. I thought it was very well done. Some people just like to keep it as vague as, oh, you're fighting Hell, and that's that, but it was kind of cool to see how they put a scientific spin and try to give explanations to the enemies and the environments and why what's going on is going on. I really think that this helped the game the way they did the story. I'm not one against stories. I love very extensive interactive stories. Like look at The Witcher 3. The storytelling in that game was absolutely incredible. But in a Doom game, that's not something you really want. You don't go into a Doom game to play it for the story. You go in to play for the gameplay, the campaign, to kill monsters, and you get a little bit of slices of story here and there along with it. and they executed it perfectly. So I was very happy with how the story progressed during the game. There's multiple ways to level up and customize your stats and abilities in the game. You have your suit, which has defensive and like environmental abilities, such as what you sense on the map, hearing pings when you buy secrets, less damage from explosive barrels, and you have to find these little chips and suits to incorporate into your own to unlock these. The guns has a really cool upgrade system. Every gun, there is no aiming down the sights. They have they have their primary fire and then a secondary attack, which I love to see that. That's something you don't see much anymore in games. That brings me back to when I remember first seeing that in like Turok 2, Seeds of Evil. If any of you guys ever played that, where each weapon has 2 different attack styles. Not only does it have a primary and secondary fire, the gun has mods. Every weapon in the game has 2 mods, and depending on which mod you use, depends on which secondary fire you're going to be using. Then on top of that, they incorporated a level up system into each of the mods. So it's like, okay, I got my basic shotgun. I could put on a mod to make it shoot 3 shots at once, or I could put on a mod to make it shoot a small explosive mine on the floor, which is better for taking out groups. Then when I find one, if I found a mod I like more than the other, each mod has its own tree. I could add to, let's say I have the one that explodes on the floor. Then I could start just leveling that mod up, where now it does, it expands the radius of damage, any enemies hit or stunned longer. Once you unlock all the skills for a particular mod, the weapon unlocks a master skill. And with some of these weapons, the master skills are ridiculous. I'm going to tell you right now, here's a little hint if you're having any trouble with the game. Just unlock the Gauss Rifles path on the precision shot where you stand still, and when you can move around and shoot it, you become a beast. Also, the turret upgrade path on the Gatling gun, the chain gun rather, is epic. It's one of the coolest weapons I've ever seen in a first-person shooter. So you have leveling up guns, you have leveling up your suit, then you can level up your character's main stats by finding the much more rarer upgrades, which is called Argent Energy. That's, I guess, like the name they came up with for like the reusable Hell Energy. And that gets slightly into the story. And using the Argent Energy items you find, you could upgrade health, armor, and ammo capacity. Early on, ammo capacity, that was big. That was like, I dumped my points into that at the beginning. On top of that, they even have passive abilities you could upgrade. As you're going through a level, you may find a warp portal. It's called a rune portal. It takes you to like another dimension of hell, and you have to complete a trial. If you complete it, you unlock a passive ability. Let's say there's like 12 of these runes, passive abilities, in the game. By the time your character's all the way leveled up, you could equip up to 3 at a time. This is a big game changer for end game. Also, any runes you have equipped, they level up as well. They each have a master ability once you fully upgrade or do the challenge required to finish off upgrading each rune. I like to play around with, I put on a rune that doing glory kills let the enemies drop armor, and I put on a rune that once upgraded to its fullest allowed me to have infinite ammo in any of my guns, common guns besides the BFG, as long as my armor remained at 75 or above. This came in huge late game, going into big fights, big arena fights, and coming in with the rune on an infinite ammo in the beginning, you were able to put in a ton of work on the bad guys. Also, there are boss fights in the game. I'm not going to spoil anything, don't worry, but I was very happy about one of the boss fights. It was really great to pay some, let's say, homage or tribute to the original Doom game. As for the length of the campaign, if you run through it and don't get anything in it, I've seen some people say like 8 hours. If you're good at it, I get like really good and not playing on a harder difficulty, or maybe normal on your first playthrough, I could see it being done maybe in 8 hours. But I would give it at least 12 hours, I would say. If you're more of a completionist and you want to get all your upgrades and you want to fully max out your character and your weapons, you have a lot more playing time on your hands. I played the majority of the campaign on, they have all the original difficulties. It's worded the same, Hurt Me Plenty, Too Young to Die. I played on the third one, which is considered hard, and then below that they have 2 like extreme difficulties. So I played the majority of the campaign on the hard mode, and I went back and I would always find all the items, all the secrets, and the collectibles, and the campaign probably took me about 20 hours in getting just about everything. I'm still missing a couple data logs, otherwise I got everything else that I need. As for a first-person shooter goes, that's great. I'm not going to complain about anything first-person shooter-wise over 10 hours. I mean, you play some of these Call of Duty campaigns, you're done in 5-6 hours. And here's another thing for some people who complain about the Doom game or say it's not living up to the they feel it doesn't live up to a first-person shooter or innovative. I would like to know, or hear from you guys, put in the comments, what games lately, first-person shooter, can you really compare it to? I haven't played, what was the last like really good first-person shooter out there? Seriously, like BioShock Infinite, I think it would be the first one that comes to mind. Was that 4 years ago? The original Call of Duty campaigns I love, but like Black Ops 3's campaign and stuff, co-op it with a friend, I mean, it's a lot of fun, but it's, it's okay. Those games are just built for the multiplayer. Even though I think they should go back to the much better written stories of the original Modern Warfares. Power-ups make a comeback, just like in the old Doom, how you had the spheres that give you 200 health armor. You're going to see that. You're going to see invisibility. Berserker's back. And honestly, in the old Dooms, I sucked with Berserker, running around trying to hit people and watch them explode. I mean, I would always wind up taking a tremendous amount of damage and would just use it more strategically to get 100 health back. But in this, the Berserker mode is out of control. Just the gratifying feeling of going up to an imp and putting basically your thumbs into his face and ripping him in half. I mean, the gore in this game is completely glorified, but it's Doom. It's to be expected. So I don't want to see anyone complaining about how bloody the game is. Like how Mortal Kombat is, Doom is the same way. The games, they need their gore to be what they are. It's fun. It's all in good fun. By the end of the campaign mode, once you complete it, it's a little over, it's like 12 or 13 missions long. If you were like me, you're gonna want more. And I was hoping to take my character and everything into a new game plus mode. You can redo any of the missions in the game in any of the original 3 difficulties, but because I played on the hard mode, that's as far as it goes. The 2 extreme difficulties, you cannot bring in your character. You have to start the game anew, which is quite frustrating because the first difficulty it's ridiculous. The 2 of them, they're the same difficulty, the extreme ones. Only difference is, as like in Dead Space, the Ultra Nightmare, you can't die once in the entire game. But I mean, I played it. There was an achievement to beat the first level. Playing like that, I got it. It was not easy, and Imp's Fireball can basically kill you in one shot. Health pickups are like cut to a third, and it was definitely much more difficult. So I would have liked to have played. I would have found it really challenging that once I got this character all souped up, to not just have him for basically the last level like that, and be able to go through a much more challenging version of the missions. Who knows? Maybe they'll put a patch or one day let us play a difficulty up with everything we got. Maybe I'll go and try to play it with a brand new character. It's going to be rough though. If I do, we'll see how things go. Maybe I'll try to live streaming me getting my ass kicked on it. But it's definitely up in the air. I might go through the game again on that difficulty. Another way they paid homage to the classic Dooms is in every single level there is a hidden level. There is a hidden lever that opens up a secret room. And once you go in that room, it's a piece of a level from the original Doom or Doom 2 game. Comes complete with the original music, kind of remastered, and it's awesome. Once you unlock these from the main menu, you can go in to classic Doom mode and you can play. So there's about 13 levels of original Doom 1 and Doom 2 that you could go in and play, all in the old graphics, with the old music, the same level layout, except the enemies and you yourself are in the new graphics. It's a lot of fun, and actually playing it, the guns don't have the mods on them. They're the standard like classic way the weapons would fire. I would really like to play an entire game through like that because it's still going to be it was challenging playing those levels, and I had a lot of fun playing the classic levels. So they're really hard to find, a lot of levels. So someone I was talking to, actually myself, I didn't find one until like level 9. I had no idea. My buddy found one early on in like the second level and then told me about it, and I found a lever and I was like, oh shit, look at this. And then when I went back before I did like the last level or 2, and I unlocked as many as I could and I played them. The campaign overall was fantastic. I had a ton of fun blasting my way through it. So after the campaign's over, I think a lot of people had some fear or doubt that it was going to live up to what our expectations was, especially after a very lukewarm multiplayer beta and a lack of campaign content for us to interact with or even see. But they did a great job. They hit the nail on the head. I loved the campaign. But that's not it. They also included 2 other modes to the game. They have the multiplayer and they have the snap map. I love creating levels and customizing shit and having my friends or other people come in and try it out. And the snap map they have in Doom is no joke. Like, it's not just a simple drag and click like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. There's just a list, put this stuff here, or even Super Smash Brothers level creator. This shit gets specific. It's one of those things where you just know, like, in like 3 months from now, there's some kids out there that are going to probably develop levels that put the entire team that designed the game to shame. These complete tutorial videos, it's easy to catch on. I mean, just to make basic levels and cool stuff is easy. I made a level for myself that you could just put in all different environments. You could drop in weapons, bad guys. You could actually play with the properties on individual enemies. You could change their AI. You could do AI patterns where they walk. If they guard, you could change their health. Like I made a boss Baron of Hell in a room filled with fire. You could throw in the key cards and have people look around with it. Give them 10 times damage output. You put in these, they call it logic lines. I guess they're like preset codings where you could, put down this lever will make acid come, or pop up a gun, or spawn a horde, and it's very, very extensive. I mean, there's people out there that I'm sure are going to dump hundreds of hours just into the snap map. You can make the levels based on multiplayer, on team battles, capture the flag, set the levels how you want, or you can make them survival, horde mode, co-op, 1 to 4 people. The one I made, it was a 1 to 2 person room only, and it was kind of like a marathon to keep getting further and further down a hall and getting key cards to keep opening doors, and I had to get progressively harder and harder and harder. You could set like how many lives they have. It was really incredible. I mean, I'm definitely going to play around with it a little bit more, jump in with my friends to see other people's maps and the more popular ones. The snap map is excellent. I really didn't expect it to be that specific, so they did a great job including that with the game. Lastly, Doom also offers a multiplayer. When Doom was even announced, I didn't go into expecting a new great multiplayer experience. I wanted Doom for what it was, for its campaign. Even possibility of co-ops in there, I think I would have been okay with. If there was a separate co-op mode, you got to play the regular game solo, alone. And it seems that over at ID Software and stuff, they took a lot of pride in building the multiplayer. They've talked it up. They threw a lot of eggs in the multiplayer basket, talking about how Doom is this big name game and it should be up there with Call of Duty, games like that. And they were probably referring more to the multiplayer with that. When the beta came out, I played 2 different theaters. It had a very lukewarm response. See, it felt and played a little outdated. Even with the multiplayer now and playing it, people will enjoy that it does have an extensive upgrade and customization system, very specific to how much you could customize color, putting designs, patterns, dirt, and dust on all your guns and all your armor suits. There's actually a variety of weapons, plenty more in the multiplayer than that's actually in the original game, maybe 5 or 6 more guns. There's plenty of different game modes to choose from. There's like 8 or 9 modes. There, it's got your basic deathmatch, domination, and then it has some more unique ones to the game. You could become demons. As you level up, you can become stronger demons. And the multiplayer does play and feel like an old school shooter, kind of like a Quake, very fast paced. But as everyone playing, they're going to see, it feels a lot like an outdated Halo, more like the original Halo 1. And it feels kind of stale. Some people will love it. It's quick, it's action-packed. To me, the multiplayer did feel a little outdated. Some of the complaints I had with it, for one, I couldn't get over, you can't feel when you're taking damage in the multiplayer. That's key in a multiplayer game. I'm fighting someone over here, and I'm getting hit on the side. You see red, and you can feel the tick, so you're getting hit, and you gotta do something to regroup or get around a corner or turn to face them immediately. You could be fighting someone you're not even knowing, you're taking a boatload of damage, and next thing you know, you just drop dead. Also, when you shoot, there's damage ticks or damage counters in the multiplayer. When you hit other enemy players, numbers come out of them. I'm sure it's a simple scale how the damage is counted, but oddly enough, you would think if you hit someone with a shotgun and it did 50 damage, and you shoot them again and it did 50 damage, they would be dead. Apparently, it's not out of 100 health, because I've clearly gotten 3 shots off on someone in the 40s. I don't know if it just includes 50 armor on top, if they have armor, or I don't really know how it works, but I don't think it's necessary. You don't need to see the damage outputs, in my opinion, and it just takes away from the experience. Also, while playing, I never really got a sense of like suspense, or like in a close match, you're like, shit, we gotta get like one more. It's kind of, everyone just seems like they're kind of going through the motions because of how fast paced and quick it is. And I think the matches are 6v6. I will tell you this, which I found interesting. I got into a lobby where it was only a 4v4, and it was and the 4v4 felt a lot better, which is funny because if I remember, Slayers in the Halo games were 4v4s. It was, the teams were more coordinated. It wasn't as much as just a kind of free-for-all run around, and it was definitely a lot more intense. So I'm wondering if they came out with maybe like smaller deathmatch or smaller game types, it may benefit the multiplayer, because even as much as taking out, let's say someone turns into a Baron of Hell on the other team, if they're in a room with 6 people, the thing's going to get destroyed. I mean, you could kill, don't get me wrong, the monsters kill people like that, but you could just get taken down from everyone shooting rockets, double barrel shotguns. You will go down quite fast. But when there's only 4 of you, you were forced to coordinate and get that enemy out first. It's strategy, because think that if that thing's running around, you can pick you off one at a time. When there's 4 people, it's never going to really run into a group. So you had to like kind of regroup, me and my friends, and kind of ignore our top priority, take out the monster on the other team. And actually getting to become a monster became a large portion of that game when I was playing it, because you know how important it is. Literally, we were up like 10 kills on this team in the 4v4. They got the monster card. We were wiping them up without the monsters out there, just in regular combat, and then they got the monster card, and you've seen it just turn the tide. And then, like I said, then we had to re-strategize, like, alright, you gotta focus on this. So that was a lot of fun, and I found it interesting, so maybe they could, if other people agree, they'll do something with smaller game types. So by the end of the day, being sick all week and stuck home playing Doom turned out to be a pretty good experience. Wasn't the worst time to get sick. But I can confidently say that Doom is back. This game is fucking awesome. If you like first-person shooters, if you don't know Doom, even if you're an old Doom fan, go out and pick it up. And if you're one of the people who are just crying that, oh, it's so far off from the original ones, and giving it a 0 and giving it terrible ratings, it's not. Play through the game. It's enjoyable. Like I said, think of the last first-person shooter that you went through the campaign and had fun, as much fun as this game was. With all the tons of content in it, the multiplayer, the snap map, the campaign, how well it was all done. Like I said, the multiplayer was a little lackluster. Definitely not going to be my go-to multiplayer game. I mean, I'll probably level up in it a little more, but it'll fizzle out sooner or later. I would say this game's a solid 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm still a little heartbroken that there's no more to progress in the campaign. I had a lot of fun with it. And for all of you that wanted to know what the Revenant did in my unboxing video, I finally got the batteries in. As you can see, it lights up and the fan moves. Look at that. Very, very nice. So, you got anything to say? Put it in the comments. How do you feel? Do you think it lived up to the hype? Did you enjoy the campaign? What did you guys think about it? Let me know. If you liked the video, have any suggestions, put it in the comments below. If you think I'm an asshole, put it in the comments below. Tell me to go fuck myself. Tell me you love me. Tell me you hate me. It is what it is. Alright guys, have a good one. TMAN out.